Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Deep Rock Galactic. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Zarel. Let's get to it. Alright, so today we're doing the deep dive, but before we get to that, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. Alright, so let's get into it. So this week, the deep dive is called our codenamed Barbarous Trick, and stage 1 has the modifier Rival Presence, which is new for season 2, and you have a full salvage mission of 2 mules and extracting Morkite. Rival Presence means, of course, that you're going to see shredders and drones, patrol bots, stuff like that. We're going to see some other things that you can end up seeing not so great within the level. The mules do not show up on the terrain scanner. However, they do emit a ping, plus they pulse, so you have both audio and visual cues to let you know that they're close by. So if you can hear them, then you can look for the pulse and find out where they're at. Once you go up to them and scan them, all of the legs that have fallen off will be on the terrain map. So if you don't automatically see them, you know, they're little bright points of light. If you're just visually looking for them, when you get close enough, they do have a small pulse to them, not nearly as big as the mules themselves. And you know, ordinarily they're embedded in the rock, so you have to pickaxe them out. And there's 2 different mules that you have to do. Mine, I'm assuming, are the same as yours, and they're really close by to each other. So you can mix and match the legs because they can go in any position. So with this level, and as you know, the deep dive is a 3-stage mission where instead of having 1 main objective and 1 optional side objective, you have 2 mandatory objectives. And each stage has its own objectives and potential modifiers. So with this one, because it's Rival Presence, you have, you know, patrol bots and shredders, which spawn and you're going to see more often. And then you can have things like this, these turrets and the turret controller. Usually there's turrets around it, so you'll have to take out some turrets in order to disable it. But once you disable it, you won't have to worry about any more turrets on the level. The Nemesis is very persistent. You don't want to be close to it. Stay away from it if at all possible. I was in a very small arena, so I was not able to do that. Have your teammates focus fire on it if it does happen to grab you. Additionally, at this point, I should say that the deep dive, you do not have to play in a team. If you want to play in a team, it's certainly up to you. If you want to play just by yourself, or if you just want to play with one other friend of yours that maybe you guys both enjoy playing, whatever the case happens to be. So if you are by yourself, you're not necessarily alone. You can bring Bosco in with you. So since this is a full salvage mission, you'll have to, you know, get the mules repaired, send them back to the derelict drop pod, refuel it, and have it power back up before you can get out. Now, this is important to mention that everything carries over from one stage to the next stage. So all of your equipment, all of your ammo, even your health, and what you're carrying in your bucket will carry over. So if you do not put something into the mule, or you forget, whatever the case may be, it'll still be there when you get to the next stage, except for Morkite. gold and nitra will carry over, and what you've deposited will carry over, and it's important to kind of store up these resources when you can. Of course, gold will help you gain more credits at the end, so that's always a good thing. More money. Dwarves love shiny things, so it's always good to have more credits. And then nitra lets you call down resupply pods more often. So if you scavenge all of the nitra in a level and each and every stage of the deep dive, then you'll have no problems. You know, you won't have to worry about running out of ammo at any point during the deep dive. So once you're done with stage 1, you're ready to go to stage 2. And I have to say, each stage, as soon as you're done, you're probably going to want to leave as soon as possible. Alright, so now we're on to stage 2. Stage 2 of Barbarous Trick has you collecting 2 alien eggs and doing a drill dozer mission. So the drill dozer is autonomous. It'll keep going on whatever path it thinks is the best to the Amaran Heartstone, and the Heartstone will, once you start drilling into it, will call in all kinds of guys to you. Now, do remember that even though the modifier may not be there, you still have to look out for things like grabbers and leeches. And this particular stage has low oxygen, so you will want to be close to the drill dozer, the mule, or a resupply pod or the drop pod, because those are the only ways that you'll have oxygen. On the right hand side, you'll see the oxygen meter. If you're close to the mule or drill dozer, it'll go up and it'll be full. If you're not, it'll start going down. Once it gets halfway, it'll beep at you saying, hey, you're using up your oxygen. And then once you get down to about 15, maybe 20%, it starts beeping continuously like, hey, you're running out of oxygen, you need to go. Now do know that the alien eggs, there is a chance at least once, so 1 out of the 2 when you collect them will spawn a swarm. And as always with a low oxygen modifier, the race to the drop pod is the most perilous part of the mission, since it will be either difficult to keep up with the mule, or you go ahead and you start running out of oxygen on your way back to the drop pod. Do remember that the mule and the drop pod both have oxygen, but if you're not right next to the mule, you're going to be in trouble. So in this particular stage, I would say it's probably best to make your way to the drop pod, see what the situation is, and then, you know, get close to the mule to kind of shore up your oxygen supply, because you only have about a minute's worth of oxygen before you run out. So when you see the mule, get as much oxygen as you can so that you can make your way out. Now in this particular situation, because I was an engineer, I had to put platforms down to make my way up to the drop pod. If you are either a gunner or a scout, scouts can easily make it up there by themselves, but they can't help their teammates. The gunner, as long as you have one of your 4 zip lines, you can certainly help everyone out to get up there, as well as a driller that can drill a, you know, dwarf path or dwarf cave up to it. Get up there as quickly as you can, get on the drop pod, and get on to the next stage. Luckily, if you're waiting for your teammates, the drop pod does have oxygen, so you don't have to worry about running out. And we're already on to the last stage of the deep dive of Barbarous Trick. Now this one has the modifier of low gravity, collecting 6 alien eggs and extracting Morkite. The low gravity actually helps you out. This is actually a benefit to you because it allows you to reach higher altitudes without the use of transversal tools. So platforms, you don't have to worry about running out of platforms or zip lines, what have you, because you'll be able to jump up higher. You won't take as much fall damage, or you'll have to fall farther before you start taking fall damage. Now do know, because you are collecting alien eggs, you are guaranteed to see at least 2 swarms on this stage, if not more, while you're collecting the eggs. Now beyond that, it is a little bit up to chance, because each egg, I would say, would be about a 50% chance. So if you're lucky, you'll only have 2 swarms from the eggs. There's also time swarms that you'll have to deal with as well, so get through it quickly so you have to deal with the minimum number of swarms. And hopefully you'll have Nitra so you can call in as many drop pods or resupply pods as you need, so you don't feel pinched by the number of grenades or transversal tools that you have, ammo, etc. As well as, don't forget that when you resupply, you also get health. So if you're low on health and you don't see any red sugar around, you can always use a resupply pod. And when you're on the final stage of a deep dive, you can use resupply with abandon, so you can resupply as many times as possible, as long as you have been collecting Nitra to begin with from stage 1. If you've been prudent in the past, you should have more than enough supply drops to make it through. As you can see, I had more than enough. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 4 minutes.
The resupply is here.
Supply pod launched. Better stand back. Extraction commencing. Good work.